Hello, my name is Nick, and welcome to Watch This Now. Bombshell is the drama written by Charles Randolph and directed by Jay Roach that stars Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, and Margot Robbie as the women that helped take down Roger Ailes in the Fox News sexual harassment scandal. Now, this movie takes that scandal and it ends up making a great story and a great commentary on the way that women have to navigate sexual harassment within the workplace. Now, obviously, it is quite political. The whole film takes place at Fox News, yet it has this very liberal lean, so I think this film is kind of conflicting. I don't really know who it's really going for, but I think it's the story that everyone needs to hear. Politically charged films have not been doing well, as of, last weekend even. So, if I had to choose one of the more recent politically charged films to recommend to you, Bombshell would 100% be it. This is crowned the official first Me Too film, and while I don't necessarily think people need to go out just to sort of check off a box like that, I do think that this might be the start to a very important conversation that we've been having, but we really need to be taking more seriously. This movie's getting some serious attention for its acting, and all of the major awards that we are diving into shortly, gonna be crazy, but Charlize Theron totally deserves all of the accolades in the awards for her performance as Megyn Kelly, thanks to some amazing makeup effects work that I'm sure will win Best Makeup this year. She slips into the role of Megyn Kelly. She becomes her. And while there were times when I was just like, this is Charlize Theron, I know it, I know I'm watching a movie, at points the makeup did not completely cover her up, but there were times when I kind of forgot that it was her. I mean, she completely disappears into the role, but the way that she uses her voice to become Megyn Kelly, I mean, truly, this is a movie that is built on its performances, and Charlize Theron carries a ton of that weight. However, it is an ensemble, so there's more weight to be going around, and Gretchen Carlson probably has arguably the best story in the film, and Nicole Kidman is such a solid choice to take her on. She doesn't completely disappear the way that Charlize Theron does, but she still does a great Nicole Kidman performance. Honestly, I don't think she's the best. I'd say she's the weakest of the main three, but that's a damn good movie to be talking about when Nicole Kidman is giving the weakest performance in the film. But Margot Robbie, holy cow, when I heard of her being in the Best Supporting Actress race, I thought this might be a little bit of an obvious role, a showy one, and she certainly does have the most difficult scenes in the film. You can imagine she has such an incredibly subtle and restrained performance, and she will break your heart once it gets towards the end of the film and things all come together. I mean, she has a very powerful scene among other powerful scenes, and I think she absolutely deserves to be in the conversation for the awards, not just because she's Margot Robbie, but because she does a great job in this film. Now, I gotta tell ya, I know The Big Short won Best Original Screenplay at the Academy Awards, but this type of style just does not work for me. I'm sorry, but in the beginning we have all this fourth wall breaking stuff with Megyn Kelly talking directly to the camera, directly to the audience. We have bits that feel kind of like a YouTube video essay spliced into an actual film. I like the idea of filmmakers taking these risks, doing these different things, and kind of updating filmmaking. We're certainly going to see filmmaking evolve forever, and I like to see that evolution. However, this is not a particular style that I care for. Didn't really like Vice, didn't like The Big Short, as I said, and now here, I like a lot of what Bombshell has. However, it feels like it's completely weighed down by this erratic filmmaking style. Even the narrative scenes, it feels as though someone who made documentaries hopped on and is making their first film, and I'm like, can we just keep the camera in one fucking place for a minute here? Like, I hate to say it, but I kind of wish this had a more standard Oscar Beatty approach, because I think the biggest thing weighing it down is its style. That might make it more interesting for you. I like the idea of a high energy movie because this doesn't feel like your typical biopic kind of film. This isn't a biopic, but you know what I mean. This doesn't feel like it falls into the trappings of most true life films where they happen to have a really interesting subject matter, but the entire movie surrounding it is so boring, you're like, I would have rather read like a one-page article. Like, give me the cliff notes. One of the things I really enjoyed about this film was the way it tackled the intricacies of the office space and how you can have people on your team, however, you have to worry about not hurting them. Like the character of Megyn Kelly, she has a team around her, so as she's going to bat to like make these allegations and stick her neck out there, she doesn't just have her own reputation, her family to think about, she also has her coworkers and the team around her. And between, a character who is a lesbian at Fox and a character who is there on a visa, it covers all of these different gray areas that I really appreciated, and I liked that the men weren't treated like shit either. I also have a gripe with one of the complaints that's made about this movie, in that Megyn Kelly is kind of the main character and that she is so unlikable that how could you get into this film with such an unlikable lead? Well, in real life she might be unlikable, and I kind of agree with that a lot, but that doesn't mean that she deserves to be sexually harassed or assaulted or whatever may have happened to her. It doesn't matter how much you might not like someone politically. That is one thing that I think this film does well. Although it is in a very heavily political environment, this takes place throughout the presidential campaign of 2016, it still covers that no one should have to go through this, no matter what. I like that they made her a character beyond just what we see from her on television, because every person has plenty going on in their lives, and I like that they managed to show that even if you don't like this person, there's still a whole lot that you can understand about them. And that's one thing that I love about film, is that you should be able to check out these different perspectives, get a different idea of things, and that's one thing that Bombshell does really well. I don't think Bombshell is one of the best of the year. I don't think it's going to completely sweep the awards. However, it deserves to be in the acting categories 100%. John Lithgow is great as Roger Ailes. I mean, you're not sympathetic towards him, but he does such a good job of embodying this monster that you still see him as a person, even if he's a very bad person. If this had a more clear and concise story, that followed a typical 3-act structure, I think I'd appreciate a little bit more. But overall, I think that the way that this film is told is a little sloppy, it's a little out of place, and the style gets in its own way. However, I fall just on the right side of positive on this one, and while it's not one I'm going to want to revisit a whole ton, I do think that it was worth watching. I wasn't bored. I was very excited to be seeing what was happening in this film. I liked the way that it told its message. Overall, I think Bombshell is pretty good, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I have some problems with it. I may have liked it a little bit more if someone else directed it, but overall, I think it is worth your time. I think it's worth a watch, and I think you're going to like it. What did you guys think of Bombshell? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to watch this now, like this video, and I'll see you in my next one.